Coming up on Network Africa, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu meets with newly inaugurated President of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa. Chadian President visits the site of Tuesday's explosion, orders investigations into the blast that killed 9 people. Plus, it's World Refugee Day, designated by the United Nations to honor refugees around the globe. Hello and welcome to the program today. I'm Layo Olarinde. Thank you so much for joining us. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has had a bilateral meeting with President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa. The meeting follows the inauguration of President Ramaphosa for his second term in office, which took place just the day before in Teshwane, Pretoria. The two leaders spent some time in the meeting, which was hosted by the Nigerian president, speaking on issues of mutual benefits.
I'm very much at home. Here to congratulate my brother for putting together a very, very impressive outing, particularly forming a government of national unity to stabilize the polity. And that is coming at a very challenging time for the rest of us in Africa to really come up with collaborative economics that will help our downtrodden and vulnerable people. That's all about it. That's what we have been discussing. Very much at home.
Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure to meet President Tinubu, and I felt very honored to have him at my inauguration yesterday. It was a moment that lifted my spirits and gave a huge encouragement to us as South Africans that the president of an important country like Nigeria, largest country by population on the continent and large economy, could come and be in attendance at my inauguration. It's a great honor and a really great privilege. And I feel at home as well to have this moment to have a discussion with President Tinubu on a whole range of issues. And of course, we've set up a government of national unity. And I'm particularly pleased that the African continent has responded very positively to the news that we will continue stabilizing the politics of our country, but more importantly, that through the government of national unity, we're setting a very strong foundation for economic growth and to be able to attract investments. But for me, what matters most is to be able to have very good economic links with Nigeria.
The Democratic Alliance in South Africa has suspended its member of parliament after an old video resurfaced online of him spewing violent racist language against black people. Ronaldo Gauls initially insinuated it was a doctored video and denied it, but a statement by the DA on Thursday said it was a genuine and not a fake video. In the video, Mr. Gauls, who was sworn into Parliament less than a week ago, uses a local slur typically reserved for black Africans repeatedly, along with the N-word. The DA, which now forms part of the Government of National Unity, says Mr. Gauls would face disciplinary charges. Away from South Africa, President Mahamat Deby Itno of Chad has visited the site of an explosion that killed 9 people and injured more than 40 others at a military ammunition depot in the capital overnight. The explosions started late Tuesday at the depot in N'Djamena. Well, the president, while on site, thanked emergency responders during his visit, saying the blast could have been worse. President Mahamat said the fire caused human and material damage and an investigation would be conducted. Well, Chad, a country of nearly 18 million people, has been reeling from political turmoil before and after a controversial presidential election that resulted in the president's victory. He has led the country as interim president during the period of military rule that followed the death of his father in 2021. The United Nations says without swift action, Sudan risks becoming engulfed in more ethnic violence and the risk of a conflict spillover remains high. Addressing the Security Council, UN Assistant Secretary General for Africa, Martha Akia-Pobe, says a ceasefire in El Fasher is needed now to prevent further atrocities and to protect critical infrastructure and alleviate civilian suffering. All other officials who briefed the council also called for humanitarian access and protection of lives and properties.
Without swift action, Sudan risks becoming engulfed in more ethnic violence and fragment even further. The risk of a conflict spillover remains high. From 16th April to 9th June, the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights documented at least 192 civilian deaths in El Fasher. Since then, dozens more civilians, including women and children, have reportedly been killed. Civilians are in the line of fire. Nowhere is safe for them. A ceasefire in El Fasher is needed now to prevent further atrocities, protect critical infrastructure, and alleviate civilian suffering. It could and should also pave the way for a broader scale cessation of hostilities.
We are in the race against time to avert massive loss of life and in this unprecedented protection and food security crisis in Sudan. We have 3 asks: to protect civilians and the infrastructure they need for survival, to ensure unimpeded, sustained, and expanded humanitarian access to people in need, and increased funding for the aid operation. But let me be clear. The ultimate ask is for this horrific conflict to stop.
Well, in the meantime, UN High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi, has visited Sudan. This is his 2nd visit to the country since the outbreak of war last year. He is warning that without concerted peace efforts, many more people will flee the brutal war in the country into neighboring countries. Mr. Grandi visited refugee camps and displacement centers in Kosti, in Sudan's White Nile state, where over 1 million people have sought shelter since the fighting started.
We chose to be in this region during this important week for us, the week in which we observe World Refugee Day, because South Sudan and Sudan are 2 countries bound by history and which both have hosted refugees from the other country due to the multiple conflicts that have impacted all the people here. Let's be very clear. The civilians are the ones that have no responsibility, no fault of their own in this conflict, and yet, as so often happens, they are the ones paying the highest price. The biggest appeal that I want to make is to the military people that are fighting each other and reducing this country to ruin and to rubble. They have to stop. This war has to stop. Peace is the only solution so that we can help properly these people and all those to whom we have no access because of the war, and we can move back to peace building, to development, to a better future for all those that are living here.
Well, every June 20 is World Refugee Day. 1 out of every 69 people on Earth is now displaced, according to United Nations. That's about 120 million people, or 1.5% of the world's population, who have been uprooted from their homes. Now, behind these numbers are countless human stories of families separated, livelihoods lost, and communities shattered. According to the annual displacement report by the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR, 68 million of those are internally displaced within their own countries. The rest are refugees in need of protection, 43.4 million, and people who are seeking asylum, that's 6.9 million. Now, to raise awareness about the situation of refugees worldwide, the UN designated June 20 every year as World Refugee Day. It is also a day to celebrate the strength and courage of people who have been forced to flee their home country to escape conflict or persecution. Now, Libyans from rival regions and all walks of life are fed up with the country's divisions and want political players to end their years-long impasse and agree to hold national elections, a key step to peace in the oil-rich North African country. This is according to the UN Deputy Representative Stephanie Curry, who told the UN Security Council that she has been meeting with political leaders, civil society representatives, academics, women groups, and military leaders in the country's rival East and West to be able to listen to their views. She adds that there is a consensus that the current status quo is not sustainable and the political process needs to advance towards election.
Many Libyans continue to express deep concern about the de facto divisions of the country and parallel governing institutions. I share this concern. These developments undermine economic security and stability, as well as Libya's sovereignty and territorial integrity, amidst concerns about the impact of geopolitical tensions playing out on Libya. On the onset of Eid, 10 out of 12 in-person registration centers in the eastern municipalities have been prevented from opening. I urge the authorities to allow those centers to open and establish and enable Libyans to register and exercise their political rights.
We are tired and fed up from the stalemate and the vicious cycle that we have been going through for decades now. We are tired and fed up from being lectured on what to do and what not to do. We are tired and fed up from the inability of this council to implement its resolutions and to hold any of the spoilers accountable. I guess it's about time to leave Libya alone and to free it from this council. Let us decide on our future. Let us take the path and pave the road towards the future we want as Libyans, since all of these attempts have failed in the past.
Let's take a break now on the program. Still ahead, the popular Ooba Festival in southwest Nigeria presents colorful traditional outfits and glamour at its annual ceremony. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the program. The UN is calling for concerted global action to tackle female genital mutilation, highlighting that the worldwide fight against FGM is being undermined by having girls cross national borders and beyond to undergo the procedure. Now, although many states and countries have intensified their efforts to eradicate FGM, the practice continues across the world, especially here in Africa. WHO says more than 230 million girls and women alive today have undergone FGM in 30 countries in Africa, the Middle East, and Asia, where this is practiced.
rights violation. Understand the implications of the female genital mutilation is a human rights violation, no matter where it is. There's no justification for gender-based violence against women and girls anywhere, neither on the ground of culture nor on the ground of tradition. But globally, it is imperative for states to protect women and girls from FGM in their countries and collaborate with other countries, including regionally, to prevent this cross-border or transnational FGM that this report focuses on. Female genital mutilation has no place in a human rights respecting universe, as the High Commissioner Volker Turk is quite clear on this. It must be eliminated in all its forms, and the gender stereotypes and patriarchal norms that anchor and perpetuate it uprooted. Being limited despite repeated commitments.
A new revolution has kicked off in Lagos State's health sector with the introduction of Smart Health Information Platform, SHIP, to transform data transmission and management across all state-owned healthcare facilities. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu signed a concession agreement between the Office of Public-Private Partnership and the Digital Health Platform Limited ahead of the full deployment of SHIP in the state's health sector that will eliminate loose data sharing and transmission through manual systems and providing improved protection and privacy for patients' data. The highly secure digital cloud is a state government-led effort designed in collaboration with ECLAT, a health technology company, and Interswitch Limited to create a backbone for seamless movement of patients' data and to enhance digital transformation in the state's healthcare.
Globally, we're seeing a new trend around using information technology as a backbone, as a platform to also access changes in lifestyle. For us, the Smart Health Information Platform is our own bold step in this direction. We've been on this conversation for almost 2 years. We needed to ensure that we cross the T very well and we dot the I. And we're convinced that we've chosen a competent and a worthy partner. It was in a long process before they got to this stage. And we believe that we've identified a partner that will take us, to that promised land. And I want to encourage, the teeming citizens out there. There's nothing for us to worry about. It's like you don't worry to have your PIN, being inscribed, and when you go and collect your cash from an ATM machine, or when you put your PIN into a POS machine, it's the same kind of platform that we're trying to build, in health. So, information technology has been well secured to ensure that data privacy, security of data and rest of it are critical. And that's why we're working with one of the best in this part of the world.
Well, here in Nigeria, hundreds of Ijebu people in the southwest region took part in this year's one-day Ooba Festival, which means forecourt of the king in Ijebu-Ode, a major town in Ogun State. According to the people, the significance of the annual event is to showcase the colorful culture of the Ijebus and their heritage. Various groups, including men, women, and children dressed in colorful traditional outfits, participating in a parade that held at the Awujales Pavilion in Ijebu-Ode. Nigeria is seeking to activate plans to list the annual Ooba Festival as one of those approved and supported by the UN Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The global festival is celebrated on the third day of Eid al-Kabir, and the theme for this year's celebration is Oba, Unity and Harmony, Our Gift.
You can see the colorful event. People have come with different attire, different shapes, different types, and different colors. And it's been so wonderful. I've really enjoyed the show, and we hope to see more of this inshallah.
The significance of this Ojide is basically for us to showcase the cultural heritage of Ijebu land. As you can see, we've got quite a large number of people coming here to showcase their culture, coming here to showcase their regbe outfits, showcasing how fashionable they are.
To bring love and peace within Yoruba in our society, and it's a good event for we Yorubas to just come together and find love in the society in a whole.
Well, thousands of Raja residents have recently gathered at the town's football stadium to attend a two-day peace tournament organized by the Western Bahr Ghazal State Ministry of Youth and Sport, with support from the UN mission in South Sudan. The theme of the event was Fit for the Future, Building Better Together. Raja is located in the northwest of the world's youngest country and has experienced tensions in recent years, leading to intercommunal violence. For this reason, local authorities have called on their partners, including the UN, to support the promotion of peace and unity among the 8 different ethnic groups living in the area. In continuous bids to play its part in promoting peace, the UN mission says it has often organized outreaches and advocacy events to bring the diverse local population together.
Young people have a lot of energy, and therefore if they don't have an opportunity to shed off the energy in an entertaining and exercising way, then it becomes difficult for them to be at harmony with each other. So this activity helps to bring that element of social cohesion within this community.
And finally, on the program, in a quest to advance the paint formulations to eco-friendly coatings, industry leaders gathered for Coatings Africa in Sandton, South Africa. Coatings for Africa is a dedicated coatings event in Africa for raw materials, service suppliers, equipment, and paint manufacturers. Our South Africa correspondent, Innocent Samosa, reports.
Global buyers and suppliers are coming together to shape the future of coatings technology across the continent. A coating is a covering that is applied to the surface of an object for the purpose of being decorative or functional.
We have over 120 exhibitors. There's also the Business Presentations Hub, where we have 19 sessions. And Business Presentation Hub is a chance for our exhibitors to showcase their products, innovations and solutions to our audience. We also have a very exciting colour mixology competition that gives visitors the chance to try and match colours to meet with a certain desired colour, and there's some attractive prizes on offer for the winners.
However, one of the primary challenges is the volatility of raw material prices. Coatings production heavily relies on materials like pigments and solvents, many of which are imported. Brentech Business Development Manager Prashini Reddy says fluctuation in global markets significantly impact production costs and pricing strategies for local manufacturers.
Yes, I definitely see potential into sub-Saharan Africa, but also we need to...
We do apologize for that, but that's where we end the program today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.